Good morning. Happy new month to all of you. Can you imagine we are already into the middle of 2026. I tell you, I don't know where the year is going, but for those of you who have made a success of 2026, kudos to you. And those of you still trying to find your footing, just keep going. There is no stopping you in this process. Let me tell you something. Every man has his time and season. Never compare yourself to anybody. Have faith and trust in the process, and most of all, trust and keep going in all that you are doing. Put the trust in yourself. You first before anyone else, because you can actually not give what you don't have until you can build yourself. Then you have nothing to give anyone. You can build a nation when you can build yourself. Bottom line this morning, do not look to the left or the right. Keep your face focused on where you're going. Do not mind all these side talks and the sniggering. There's a parable where I come from. If you listen to the backing of the dogs, you will never get to your destination. All right? Keep doing what you're doing and never give up. My name is Anire, Binitie. Thanks for joining us on The Press today. Let me tell you something. My guests are already here, a friend that you know, and a new face right here. Remember, when I bring guests on the show, they automatically become friends, not just to me, but friends to the station. If you're new here, we'll start the show with our front pages, our weather report. Then, of course, we move on to the discussion of the day. We bring topics are usually gotten from the front pages of our papers, except probably you have a paid announcement to make, you have a paid event, and of course we make an exception. This is the platform for you to bring your products. Yes, we can talk about products as it affects us as a people, in a positive light. You have topics you want to discuss, and you can, pay the rate. You can be here, for not too much, to actually have a platform to let the world know what you have to say or the products you have to offer. We make an exception on The Press, and this is the season. For those of you who want to go into politics, those of you who have something to say in the political terrain, this is a platform for you. You have political events that you want us to cover. Kaftan Television will do that for you. And of course, you can actually use this platform, this very, very interesting hot belt, to have those, events showcased on television right here. Did I tell you my name? My name is Anire Binitie. Once again, thanks for joining us. Without wasting much time, let us go straight on now to what the weather is saying. We have a couple of states that will peak every day, Mondays to Friday, if you follow the show. And this morning, I don't have a Edo State. Believe me, I don't have a Edo State. I do have Delta. So we're going to be starting from Delta this morning. So let's take a look. Delta this morning is 83 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m., it will rise to 85 degrees. At 11, 87. At 12 p.m., 89 degrees. It will remain so till 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. However, at 2 p.m., there's going to be rain at 35%. Thunderstorms are expected from 2 to about 4 p.m., with rain expected at 4 p.m. All right. Highest temperatures is predicted at 89 degrees and lowest at 78. All right, that is Delta weather forecast for today, 2nd of June. Okay, let's take a look at Bayelsa. We have Bayelsa this morning. Bayelsa is 83 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m., it will rise to 85 degrees. At 11, 86. At 12, 87 degrees. At 1 p.m., 88 degrees, and at 2 p.m., it will remain at 88. However, there's a difference. 35% of rain is also expected around 2 p.m. in Bayelsa, going by the fact that Bayelsa and Delta actually share boundaries. I am not surprised. Many conditions expected around 2 p.m. Wind gusts up to 5 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 88 and lowest predicted at 77. Rivers, we have Rivers this morning. Rivers is 82 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 84 degrees. At 11, 86. At 12 and 1 p.m., 87. And at 2 p.m., 86. Thunderstorms expected around 4 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 4 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 88 degrees and lowest at 78. We have more. Don't go anywhere. Enugu is up next. Let's take a look at Enugu this morning. It is 81 degrees past 9 a.m. in Enugu State. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 84 degrees. At 11, 85. At 12, 87. At 1 p.m., 88 degrees. And at 2 p.m., 89. Windy conditions expected around the evening time, 4, 5, 6 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 7 miles per hour. Highest temperatures is at 89 degrees and lowest at 78. Imo, next door to Enugu. It is 82 degrees past 9 a.m. in Imo State. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 84 degrees. At 11 a.m. 86. At 12, 88. It will remain so at 1 p.m. rising to 89 degrees at 2 p.m. Windy conditions are expected around 3 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 5 miles per hour. Highest temperatures predicted at 89 degrees and lowest at 77. All right, time now to jet off to Lagos. Let's see what Lagos presents today in terms of temperature. Lagos this morning, it is already 83 degrees past 9 a.m. in Lagos. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 85 degrees. At 11, 86. At 12, 87. Remaining so till 2 p.m. However, windy conditions expected around 4 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 8 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 88 degrees and lowest at 80. All right, let's come back now to Abuja, where we call home. It is 81 degrees past 9 a.m. in Abuja this morning. At 10, it will rise to 83 degrees. At 11 a.m., 85. At 12, 87. At 1 p.m., 88, rising to 89 at 2 p.m. You can see the sun out there. However, it was a rainy day yesterday in Abuja. Thank God the sun actually came out early, but it's going to get really hot from 1 to 2 p.m. Thunderstorms expected in the afternoon. Wind gusts are up to 5 miles per hour. Highest temperatures is pegged at 90 and lowest at 75. All right, don't go anywhere. We have more. Let's take a look at Benue. We have the weather forecast report for Benue this morning. It is 84 degrees past 9 a.m. in Benue. At 10 a.m. it is predicted to rise to 86 degrees. At 11, 89 degrees. At 12, 90. At 1 p.m., 91. And at 2 p.m., 92. Windy conditions are expected around 3 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 11 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 92 degrees and lowest 78. Play 2 is up next. It is going to be a sunny day in Play 2, even though the weather will change sometime in the afternoon. It is 77 degrees past 9 a.m. You can see the sun boldly shining in Play 2. The sun isn't playing there this morning. At 10 a.m. it will rise to 88 degrees. At 11, 82. At 12, 84. At 1 p.m., 85, remaining so at 2 p.m. But there is a difference. At 2 p.m., 5% of rain is expected. Windy conditions are expected around 2 p.m. Wind gusts are up to 7 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 85, lowest 68. All right, Kano. Let's take a look at Kano. We have Kano as usual this morning. Kano never disappoints. Kano, once upon a time, that was my state. It is 84 degrees past 9 a.m. You can see the sun peeking out of the clouds right there. At 10 a.m., 88 degrees. At 11, 91 degrees. At 12, 93. At 1 p.m., 95, rising to 96 at 2 p.m. You can see the pictorial right there on your screen. Kano, as usual, is going to be hot. Partly cloudy conditions expected around 9 a.m. Wind gusts up to 10 miles per hour. Highest temperatures 97, lowest 77. And finally, this morning on our weather forecast update is Kaduna. Kaduna is 81 degrees past 9 a.m. At 10 a.m. is expected to rise to 84 degrees. At 11, 86. At 12, 88, rising to 90 at 1 p.m. and 91 at 2 p.m. Partly cloudy conditions expected around now. Wind gusts are up to 9 miles per hour. Highest temperatures pegged at 91 and lowest at 74. There you have it. Weather update this morning. If your state was mentioned, you know what to do. If it's hot, protect yourself. If it's cold, do the same. All right? Okay, let us go straight on now to the front pages of our papers. And this morning, we're going to start with the Vanguard. Let's start with the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper this morning has the screaming headlines: protest walk Oyo, Ogun, over abduction of teachers, students. We have riders, schools shot as teachers, CSOs protest in Oyo. Ogun residents protest, demand urgent government action. NUT to embark on nationwide protest today. Says students being used as shield by federal government silenced by terrorists, I beg your pardon. Muslim Congress demands the rescue of victims. Borno residents slam federal government silence over 42 abducted students. On the front page, you can see the pictorial Oyo Ogun protest. This is a protest on education, as a protest, the attack is on education and learning in Nigeria. And we have to take a look at that, the impact beyond the psychological impact, the concrete and heavy impact on education in Nigeria, because if you follow the news, if you're back home, you will see that these terror abductions in schools is spreading like a wildfire. Started in the north and it's burning right to our doorsteps. There's a need once again for us to take a look at that. Education is in our minds, and we want to take a look at, the impact analysis of these terror attacks on schools. So please stick with us. Once the conversation starts, we'll open the phone line so you can call in wherever you're watching the show. All right. So this is our reality at this moment in the nation. Unrest, kidnap for ransom, and unfortunately in the course of all of this, lives are lost. It's a call to the Nigerian government to do more beyond what they are doing. All right, we have more stories on the front page of the Vanguard. Just above the mast, it says, we're working to rescue kidnapped retired Major General Abubakar. We are working to rescue kidnapped retired Major General Abubakar, says the Defense Headquarters. Caught terrorist arms supply and attack, say Northern Christians. Caught terrorist arms supply and attacks, says Northern Christians. 2027 Atiku ex-SGF bicker over outcome of ADC presidential primary. That's in politics. And above those stories, CBN unveils payment systems vision 2028. All right. Saraki versus Turaki, PDP crisis escalates, inquirer produces two governorship candidates. All right. We have some stories across the seas, Middle East war. Iran suspends talks with U.S. over Israeli attacks in Lebanon. Abductions. Oshun calls emergency meeting over brother school safety. All right, if you want to learn more, pick up a copy of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, let's move on now to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune this morning is a different story. The screaming headlines: Babatunde quits ADC, alleges Atiku's primary win rigged. Claims ex-vice president is a religious tribal bigot. He is a notorious conflict entrepreneur not qualified to speak what is good about Nigeria. Published load of garbage. Atiku's team. That's on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also have the story on the Oyo abduction public school short protest in Ibadan, Abeokuta. Protesters at Oyo State Secretariat vow to sustain advocacy until kidnapped victims regain freedom. All right, we have more on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Troops rescue 23 abductees in Kogi. Gunmen kill 8, injure 10 in Plateau community. Our church massacre court delivers judgment tomorrow. And on health, even one drink of alcohol can raise cancer risk, says scientists. Scientists have warned that a drink of alcohol can actually raise cancer risk. It's so sad to know that there are people who actually drink alcohol as water. There are people who can eat, sleep, work, talk, do any activity whatsoever without a sip of alcohol. If you're watching right now, you need to go for help. There are help channels for alcoholics because on top of that problem, health experts have just warned again that a single sip of alcohol is an open window to trigger cancer. So please heed the warnings. All right, we have more papers. Let's move on now to the Punch. We have the Punch this morning. Let's see what the Punch has to offer. The Punch this morning: school abductions, protest in Oyo, Ogun as NUT begins nationwide rally today. Oyo public schools short as CSOs demand abductees release. Ogun residents fear spillover. Above the mast, NCDC launches 21-day Ebola watch for exposed travelers. Petrol price soars 645% in 3 years. Let me actually come back to the Ebola story. We appreciate all that the federal government is doing. The NCDC launching a 21-day Ebola watch for exposed travelers, but it should go beyond words to proper action. We're Nigerians, we live in this nation, and you know, I don't want to be pessimistic when it comes to issues like this. I am a Nigerian after all, one who sits in front of the camera, and I'm here to tell the truth, all right? We bring the truth to the people. This should go beyond lip service. Every trace should be taken seriously, and action rather than reaction. That is what we pray for. So, you know, hoping that, you know, they carry out all that is required to ensure that we do not hear stories that break the heart. We don't want any health scare to add to what we are facing as a people. It would be too much for a lot of people to handle, and of course the entire nation. So there you have it. We have more stories. 2027 polls, CBN targets 2.83 trillion naira cash in private hands. All right, let's move on to other papers. The Daily Sun, we have the Daily Sun this morning. The Daily Sun: bloodbath in Plateau, Anambra, Kogi, Niger. Traditional ruler, 8 others killed, 10 injured in fresh Plateau attacks. Gunmen killed 2 policemen in Anambra. In Kogi, 2 died in soldiers' masqueraders clash. Another killed. Gunmen abduct 30. Head of vigilante die as joint security task force kills over 200 terrorists. Hey, we're not talking about Sudan. No, we're not talking about Sudan. We're not talking about Iran. We're talking about Nigeria. All right. And this is so, what do I say? It is, I don't know. It's important for us to sit down and really really begin to seek, talk, act solution to these continuous attacks. It is important that we do that. So we don't close our eyes and open them one day and we're told to raise our hands. Everybody bill up, because unfortunately that appears to be the direction the nation is going. You feel me? So I'm not trying to raise any alarm. I didn't print this. It's on the front page of the Daily Sun, and we're here to let the people know what the papers are saying. We're just calling authorities, calling the Nigerian government to please do more. We need to look a different angle to our security situation. You can't do the same thing the same way year in, year out and expect a different result. All right? Get every and anyone involved in ensuring we put a stay to all of these. There are peaceful nations where you don't see stories like this. Nigeria used to be the sweetest nation anywhere. You travel out, you're rushing back, because this is where the fun is. We want those days back. We really do. We want to sleep with both our eyes closed. Please. All right. Our abduction, public schools grounded as teachers comply with strike. ADC primary, Babatunde Lawal resigns, accuses party Atiku of manipulating presidential primary. All right, we have more on the paper. Tinubu hails Nigerian Navy as Africa's most formidable maritime force, commissions 3 new vessels. Weekend marks opposition over primary crisis in parties. Delta leaders threaten to drag INEC chairman to NJC, alleged external interference in delineation crisis. Ex-Senate President Wabara urges Nigerians to unite against bad leadership. And finally, NUPRC operations short as oil workers begin strike over stoppage of foreign training. All right, let's move on to the matrix. We have other papers, the matrix this morning. Tinubu hails Navy at 70. Above the mast, Nigeria rallies CBN, SEC, others for anti-money laundering showdown ahead of global assessment. Fayose Oyo Pope's abduction reminds me of how Jonathan was targeted. Kwankwanso distances itself from planned insecurity protests. And in entertainment, while celebrities are scared of speaking out on insecurity, Portable opens up. Only one person will dare. Portable. Tinubu meets new Beninese counterpart Wadagni in Lagos. Tinubu meets new Beninese counterpart Wadagni in Lagos. And in sports, Arsenal eye Kropi Rogers a new Ateta deal. All right, let's move on to the Blueprint newspaper this morning. The Blueprint, ex-SGF Babatunde Lawal dumps ADC, Atiku kicks as party sinks deeper. While Amechi had no chance, Wike says Obi prefers food is Nigerian politics. Says Obi prefers food is ready politics. Wike. I really want to meet that man one-on-one, seriously. On my way to work, I saw this very big banner, is a poster, and there was a pictorial of Wike. There was his expression in his face. I was in the front seat, and I was laughing internally, and I said to myself, you know what? I really do want to meet this man one-on-one. Sit with him and have a conversation and just pick his mind. You know, talk about politics, talk about, you know, growing up, talk about his family life, talk about his friends if he has any. You know, it's, as Wike says, Obi prefers food is ready politics. Well, I don't know what that means. I would really want to meet him to ask him to expatiate. All right, DSS nabbed 2 foreigners, 3 others linked to Papiri school kidnap. Troops rescue 23 Kogi travelers, recover 15 AK rifles, 1,434 ammunition. Can you imagine? These are ammunition in the hands of the wrong people. There's a need, for us to do more, on issues like this. All right, let's move on now to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. The Daily Trust is health. The screaming headlines is on health. It says cholera kills 40 in Borno. Cholera kills 40 in Borno. Above that story, school children abductions, Borno parents slam federal government silence as protests rocks Oyo. Abuja motorists battle Florida streets as rains set in. Now, rains will definitely, as the rains are here, will battle flooding because people still continue to dump refuse in gutters. Yes, they do. They dump refuse in gutters. I think the information, we don't give enough information to people like this, not enough penalties. I think it is high time that penalties are, meted out to people who actually dump refuse. If people see refuse in front of their gutters, in front of their houses, they should be made to pay fines because, believe me, I know that people will dump from far away once the rains come, but those who live where you have major gutters often dump refuse in there, and that's the reason why it will block the passageway and will have floods everywhere. So penalties need to be given to people who do this, so they can stop dumping refuse in the gutters. All right, let's move on now to The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper this morning. It says party primaries, a divided opposition rejigs 2027 polls, line up 3 presidential candidates. The candidates are right there on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Known faces. The president of Kaftan television is one of them. He is Prince Wale Adebayo of the SDP. He made the front page of the Guardian this morning. All right. Above the mass, Supreme Court vacates appellate court order against Nest Oil Nakond. Did I pronounce that well? Is it Nakondi or Nakond? Whatever, that is what it is. Okay. APC ticket, Tinubu governors fight for control of 2027 National Assembly list. APC ticket, Tinubu governors fight for control of 2027 National Assembly list. Government killed 8 in Plateau Kogi Bands Festival after deadly violence. All right, we're moving on to the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent. The screaming headlines on the Daily Independent. CBN eyes near zero fraud, 95% financial inclusion. 2 riders targets reduction of cash outside banks to 40%. Resigns deputy governors in strategic shakeup to drive reforms. Aircraft leasing firm to tackle flight delays, lower fares, says federal government. Wike apologizes about roaming cattle in Abuja, takes responsibility, says Jonathan Nutt, PDP presidential candidate. Federal government WIPO signed pact to turn IP into financial assets. How Dangote refinery listing will reshape African markets. All right. The Nation is the next paper. Let's take a look at The Nation this morning. The Nation has Babatunde story, Babatunde Atiku not fit proper to be president. All right, The Authority. We have The Authority newspaper. Let's take a look at The Authority. The Authority is still on 2027 on politics. The Babatunde story. The Authority. Babatunde Lawal hits Kachala Atiku. Dumps ADC. Okay, this is selective outrage, says Atiku. That's on the front page of The Authority newspaper. Cost of healthy diet stands at 1,541 in March, says MBS. This is wrong. Cost of healthy diet, according to our statistics, is 3,000 naira. 3,000 naira is just barely a scratch of the stomach. You know, you belch and you don't even, in fact, you don't even belch after eating 3,000 naira meal. You try to bring out the gas, and nothing comes out, all right? The only evidence you have is the toothpick to show that you ate. It is not 1,541 because we are the ones who buy the food when we don't cook. It is 3,000. So MBS, please change your statistics. Security Defense Minister calls for community participation. TCN extends maintenance on Jos Bauchi-Gombe transmission line. Troops rescue 23 kidnapped victims, recover vehicles after Kogi attack. Right, I think we have one more paper on showbiz. Celebrities join calls for all your kidnapped victims rescue. That's on Showbiz Gist. Showbiz Gist. They arrest us if we speak. Portable on celeb rights to silence. Bibi Naija unveils date for season 10 reunion show. Music may fail, I can always return to office work, says Shode. All right, that is all the time we have on our front pages this morning. Don't go anywhere because, like I said at the beginning of the show, my guests are already seated. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation.
Back in the day, headlines sold newspapers. Today, they dominate your phone screen all day, every day. Welcome to The Press, the program where headlines don't just scream. They speak and we listen. Every day, we take a deep dive into the bold, bizarre, and sometimes baffling headlines making waves across newspapers. From front pages to fine prints, we break down the stories behind the ink, digging deeper, one headline at a time. These headlines, they're not just ink on paper. They shape opinions, spark debates.
Russia has no right to stop Ukraine from joining democracy.
And sometimes mislead us completely. Every week on The Press, we go beyond the bold print. We ask who's writing the narrative, who's being left out, and what's really going on. One story, different newspapers, from different angles, who's right and who's spin. If you're tired of just being told what to think, join us on The Press on Kaftan TV, where we analyze the newspaper headlines. We don't just read the headlines, we read between the lines.
Welcome to Abba in Abuja.
The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the most needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery?
Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among community of nations.
Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment.
Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative.
That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai.
Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at Kaftan TV. And as you see on Kaftan TV, get back to work.
Welcome to Abba in Abuja.
The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the much needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery?
Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among Committee of Nations.
Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment.
Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative.
That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention
This is Kaftan TV Newsroom, the headlines.
The fault is not coming from my name.
The world of sports, talking about sport gist on Kaftan TV.
We made the law. Why not ensure its enforcement?
$73 billion,
The car was actually made from a prototype of a human being.
What do you understand by a woman of substance? Who is the...
He said, who gave you admission? Where is the admission that you are here?
This is Kaftan TV Newsroom, the headlines.
The fault is not coming from my name.
The world of sports, talking about sport gist on Kaftan TV.
We made the law. Why not ensure its enforcement?
$73 billion,
The car was actually made from a prototype of a human being.
What do you understand by a woman of substance? Who is the...
He said, who gave you admission? Where is the admission that you are here?
Welcome to Abba in Abuja. The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products. Could this trigger the most needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery? Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among Committee of Nations. Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment. Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative. That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai.
Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at Kaftan TV. And as you see on Kaftan TV, get back to work. Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at Kaftan TV. Hello there, I am Ruben Okala.
Hello, I'm glad to have you join us again on the News on the Hour, reaching you live from our studio in the nation's capital.
And that has been the news. Many thanks for watching. My name is Fatima Abbas Hassan. I'm Binitie Babatunde.
I am Kirian.
The politics of Lagos State is still very much in the hands of the leaders.
My name is Dayo Omogun. I've not done a change of name.
To Adebayo Film and Theatre Arts Network.
We always dish out beautiful materials.
Imagine a beautiful world. That's our slogan at Kaftan TV.
Yes, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. It is the press and my guests are here. We're taking a look at a very, very important topic, one that has happened again and again. If you follow the show, it's been a major recurring topic for about 3 weeks or 2 weeks or thereabouts since, the Oyo incident, the Oyo kidnapping occurred. We've been talking about that, and I'll let you know that in Kaduna, we still have students that are yet to be rescued, and in other parts of the nation, as it were. That's the reason why we want to take a look at Nigeria's terror school abductions, its impact on education. We'll take a look beyond the psychological effect on students, on family members, on Nigerians generally, and those who love Nigeria, who follow the trend of events in the nation. My guests are already seated, but as usual, I'll start with my analysis. Now, the Nigerian security landscape has experienced an acute deterioration in educational safety. Nigeria has recorded over 20 major school kidnappings since the 2014 Chibok abduction, with more than 1,700 students affected, showing how insecurity continues to deeply impact the education system. Since Boko Haram widely reported abduction of 276 Chibok schoolgirls in 2014, the mass kidnapping of students has become a recurring nightmare in Nigeria. What began as ideologically driven abductions by extremists has morphed into ransom-seeking operations by cross-border criminal groups. The recurring attacks have raised concerns that insecurity has gradually become embedded in Nigeria's school system, particularly in northern and central regions where many of the incidents have occurred. Since Chibok, over 1,680, 1,700, almost a statistics of 3,000 has been given. Many between the ages of 5 and 11 have been abducted. Across Nigeria, in 2024 alone, Boko Haram abducted over 400 people, mainly women and children, school children, from a Borno State internally displaced people's camp. Now, according to experts, the attacks are executed by a network of violent extremists, bandits, and transnational criminal groups. 2014, Chibok, Borno State; 2018, Dapchi, Yobe State; 2020, Kankara, Katsina State; wave of coordinated school attacks; 2024, Kuriga, Kaduna State; 2025 to 2026, continued insecurity and fresh panic. Oyo, Kaduna, name it. Several schools were attacked in quick succession across northern Nigeria. Kagara, Niger State, 42 students and staff; Jangebe, Zamfara State, 279 school girls; Afaka, Kaduna State, 39 students; Greenfield University, Kaduna, 23 students abducted and killed; Tajina, Niger State, 136 pupils; Bethel Baptist High School, Kaduna, 121 students; and the latest, the Oyo kidnap for ransom, where someone was beheaded, and of course they're still calling out for ransom. All right, this is our focus this morning, and my guests are seated like I said, so let me do the introduction. First, the lady. My first guest is Miyaki Jackson Abafon-iMedia. She's a media and communication specialist. Miyaki Jackson Abafon is a media communication specialist, like I said, with experience spanning non-profits, tech, and community development. It's so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you, ma'am. So nice to be here.
Looking so calm.
Thank you.
We need the calmness, you know, amidst the chaos sometimes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And of course, my friend, you know him, always faithful. We call him, and he's here all the time. I can't stop saying how much we appreciate him. Ismaila Babatunde. Ismaila Babatunde is executive initiative of Forward Thinking organization committed to promoting good governance, climate action, sustainable development, and environmental responsibility across Africa. Is also a public affairs analyst. It's so nice to have you this morning.
Thank you, Madam Anire. I'm very grateful.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a look at Nigeria's terror school abductions impact analysis. I'm going to start from the lady. If you ask me, it has become too much. I read out the statistics. It has continued for such a long time. Oyo is fresh in our hearts. We have details that Kaduna, if you follow the papers this morning, 36 days after abducted Kaduna school children, others, we actually got a report that they regained their freedom, but other papers will tell you otherwise. So the statistics keep building up. I would really, we've brought guests on the show. Ismaila has come like 3 times. When it happened, he was so emotional. He was here because it happened so close to his heart. But this has become a reality. I would really want your take, you know, on all the unfolding. And of course, the Chibok girls, those that are yet to return, is still in our hearts. Let's take a look at your feel on this attack on schools in Nigeria.
It's a very emotional topic, if you want to touch that. I grew up in Maiduguri. I was in Maiduguri when the Chibok girls were kidnapped. And I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she mentioned that if you were going to calculate how old those ladies are now, the ones who were taken in 2014, it's been how many years? Some of them will be 26 now, some will be 25, some will be 28. And so I was thinking about it, what if I was the one who was, you know, there, you know, experiencing all of that? By now, some of them would have forgotten what it feels like to be home even. They would have been indoctrinated into the terrorist, you know,
lifestyle
and all of that, you know. I worked in a non-profit in Jos Plateau State, and part of what we do is intervention for some of the kidnapped victims. So there were some Chibok girls who were rescued, and so we do interventions for them and rehabilitate them into society. Now, there were some who were rescued that did not want to be rescued. They were angry that they were rescued. I think they call it Othello syndrome, where you develop an affinity for your kidnapper and for your torturer. Now, is that bad? And just thinking about it, thinking about how it affects the entire education system. Even parents who want to enroll their children in schools. Now, the educational system in Nigeria is already very fragile as it is, especially in northern Nigeria. Then imagine that the school is no longer a safe space for children, especially the female children. Now we're talking about a society where early marriage is normal. Now they don't have a reason to take their children to school anymore. We take them to school and they take them away anyways. So let's just marry them off, you know. So if you're going to place education and survival on the table, a lot of parents will choose survival. They will not choose education. And so this has caused a massive decline in our education system. No parents wants to take their children to school anymore. I'm sure that in Oyo State now, there are a lot of parents who have taken their children out of that school and don't want them to return. And they won't even take them to any other school because it's not just one school. It's a lot of schools, private schools, public schools. It's just a lot. And the numbers just keep piling up. And it's just so unfortunate that little or nothing is being done to, you know, reduce the rate at which this is unfolding, right? The news yesterday read excuse me, that forest guards were deployed. Forest guards. In contrast to these people who have lethal weapons, who have serious weapons, and you're taking forest guards, what are they supposed to do? With cutlasses
Hunters.
or with hunters?
1,000 hunters for your community in the search of those abducted in your state. 1,000 hunters.
Hunters. What happened to the military? What happened to the specialized forces? People who have the tactics, the proper experience, the proper training. I mean, I can understand that. We'd say, okay, the hunters have, an understanding of how the terrain was, but they can work hand in hand with these people. They can give them the intel. They can give them all of this, It's just rather unfortunate that these things are unfolding, and I just really hope that these children can be rescued in time and they can be rehabilitated, because it's not just about rescuing them, it's the fact that these people have been battered.
We're going to talk about the rehabilitation, because that is where the psychology comes in, the effect, the psychological effect of this on those rescued. You've already laid the template to the fact that there were those who were rescued and questioned why they were rescued, because they were already enjoying the system, the promises. They've been infused into whatever terror promises has been given to them, a better life, a better future somewhere, if they continue to do what they do. We're going to come to that later, but let's just give Ismaila, who has followed the story since it broke. We've talked about this since it broke in your state. We've talked about other security issues as they unfold. But we're taking a look at the effect, because Oyo is not only where we have children who are away from their parents, who went to school in the morning and then return in the evening. Oyo State is not the only state in Nigeria where students left or parents took their kids to school and got caught up in these terror attacks, and they are somewhere that we do not even know, in the bushes, whether they're alive or they're not. We do not know. So again, you were here on the spotlight to just talk about this, and we want we appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Anire. And I think I want to commend the Nigerian Security Agency for their effort so far in ensuring stability and security in the country, even though it's not what we are still expecting, because a lot of us are expecting that by now they should have been able to rescue the girls or the school children that has been abducted, even for not only the one that has been abducted in Oyo State, some other many one across the country too. So I want to commend them, because some of them are also losing their lives, and it's so disheartening to us. So yesterday I attended the security briefing regarding the abduction of these school children and the effort of the government. So that brings me down to me, first of all, commending them.
Okay.
But at the same time, when we look at it objectively, this school abduction is not about just abducting the school children. It's about is an attack to Nigeria as a whole. It's an attack to our future, to our economic growth, to our human capital development, because these are people that we said they are the future of tomorrow. So these are the futures of Nigerians that is being jeopardized, because there is even if these children are being rescued today and they return back home safely, the problem, the after effect, the trauma it has a long time effect on them. And like Miyaki said, he made some very valid position regarding these children, because now there is a decline in school enrollment. As at I think far back 2010, 2011, according to statistics, we have about 10.1 million out of school children. But now with the insecurity, I don't know the actual figure, but with the way we are looking at it, there may still be a further decline, while we were trying to work to see how we can increase school enrollment early marriage, to see how we can tackle all of this. And now bringing that the schools are no more safe the way it used to be. So one, there will be increase of out of school children. There will be increase of early marriage. There will be decline in school enrollment, and even teachers will not want to go into some of these communities to go and teach these children. So these are all issues that will have a long-time effect to the overall development of Nigeria. I remember there was this CEO that said that Nigerian, they find there is opening of about 500 applications in his own companies, and they are not seen as suitable or qualified Nigerian to fit into that space. So what does that mean? And now we have a future of generation that there's a decline in their enrollment. What about, we are not just now talking about even the enrollment, what about the quality of education? Because I don't think there will be a qualified teachers who will really want to go to communities that they want to go and teach, because they will first of all consider their safety and security before they will be able to do that.
So if you just joined the show, we're taking a look at a very important topic, which is Nigeria's terror school abductions impact analysis on education. Miyaki started the discussion by letting us know that this will increase out-of-school enrollment, and of course ismaila has said the same. Out-of-school enrollment and the statistics will keep rising as we take a look at this. We want to continue to take a look at the impact on education in Nigeria. A nation without education is a nation lost, most definitely. Remember, the name Boko Haram is symbolic to what we are actually facing right now. Education is Haram. That's what Boko Haram stands for. It started that way, and now we're having this spread across. We want to let them know that education, or should I just, ask the question like a child, is education Haram? Miyaki?
Education isn't. Now, I think the focus, or I believe the focus is on formal education. Now there is education is broad. Anything is education, right? As long as you're impacting knowledge. Now there is a kind of education which is accepted by them that is not being taught in the formal education systems. And so they believe that our female children, or even the male children, are being brainwashed to believe certain things that they should not believe, or that is not beneficial to them. So that is the problem, and that's what they're trying to eradicate.
So formal education is Haram.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why they
according to them.
According to them. So that's why you see there is barely any attack on any of the Islamic houses, teaching those children, or any informal education system. The attacks are mostly on informal schools. So they go into formal school systems and cause havoc, right? So education is not haram. We know this. It's not, if you want to move forward, like Mr. Ismaila said, human capital development, the economic development of a nation and everything is all based on how much we're able to educate ourselves, and that includes formal education. Whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, that is the standard that should be followed. So when you hamper, that system, then it causes a complete, decline in how these things are supposed to progress.
Now we've established that formal education is not Haram. It is the foundation for development. It is the foundation for progress. It is like a vehicle that propels you towards what is happening in other climes. It is a global movement of learning, and we can't remain static, as it were. What are the impact of these attacks on education? What impacts have you seen so far? What impacts can you deduct beyond early marriages, out of school learning, as it were, low statistics in terms of registration. What have you seen? What can you actually say the impact has been since all of this started for you?
I believe that there is a very serious increase in poverty as a result of this, right? Poverty has increased so much. There is also a, what do I call it now? A high recruitment level in the extremist groups. So now when they take these children out of school
and cause all the chaos, make parents not send their kids back to school.
Exactly.
So they are building an army.
Thank you.
Of recruitment.
Exactly. So you see that a lot of the people in these extremist groups
now
are kids. They're young
soldiers.
People. Yes. In Maiduguri, you will see 6, 7-year-olds with suicide bombing
straps.
And they're doing it willingly. Right? So that is also part of the movement, that they get these boys, because these boys are supposed to be soldiers, and girls to be wives and mothers, to give birth to more soldiers, to give birth to more wives, to give birth to more. That is their job. And then the boys are supposed to be, so they school them to believe that this is what you're supposed to do. This is a cause you're supposed to fight for. This is the cause you're supposed to lay down your life for. Not formal education, not the country, not the, what is that? That's nothing. So this is what you're supposed to do. And then you see a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old with a suicide strap. Willingly, not forced. He's not crying. He's happy to do it. So there's an increase in that as well. There's an increase in unemployment rate. Because when people are not educated, what are you employing them for? Right? And manual labor is also not, it's not doing anything at the end of the day. How much manual labor can people go into? Right? How many mechanics do you want to have in one area? How many vulcanizers do you want to have in one area? Right? And a lot of these people also do not have enough to say, oh, I want to pay an apprentice. I want to, do this and do that. So you go there, you're not being paid. Nothing is happening, you're not doing. So because of that, everyone is jobless now. And then when you're jobless, there's an increase in crime rates and all of that. So.
Yes. So that's interesting. Ismaila, you've heard Miyaki give a run, on the impact beyond out of school, beyond early marriage. She has also established that formal education is not a ram, like it is made, that is being propagated by the Boko Haram and those who carry out these horrible, terrible terrorist attacks. So we want your take on it. We really appreciate your take.
I think first, according to the Islamic wording, when you look at the fourth letter, Iqra, and in Islam, the teaching is seek knowledge. Even though it's meant for you to go as far as traveling a very considerable distance, go there and seek knowledge. So how, if this is in the Quran, so how can they now come and say seeking knowledge is bad or is haram? So that allegation is just from someone who wants to brainwash other people not to seek for formal education. And this education is the foundation of economic growth and national development. And one of the discussions that we held yesterday was there is international conspiracy. Yeah, there are some, because when I listen to how they secure arms and ammunition, is a very, very rigorous process. So how come these people are now having access to these arms and ammunition? So what that means, it means there is actually an international conspiracy. That is, there are some groups who does not want Nigeria to progress. Maybe they are benefiting from ripping us up. They see that our education level is on the increase, so there is no way they could come forth and manipulate us and take away our resources. We really do not know their their mindset, what their mission towards Nigeria. So I think all of this boils down to why there's a deliberate attack on our education system. They want, people that want to cause havoc, they can be so patient and they can be so strategic and like, let's sustain this so that in the next 20 to 30 years, we'll be able to achieve this. Because now, when you push away students from getting a formal education, how would they be able to read and write? How would, if they come with a community development agreement, like minors and all of that, if they come now, there is a lot of communities that they really do not understand what is inside their community development agreement, their CDAs. And if you watch, there is also insecurity in areas where there are natural resources and real minerals. There are insecurity in those areas. Even from those who secure a legitimate license from the federal government, they lag behind in providing the basic amenities that they are supposed to provide for the community development. Now, if a community, they will just say, okay, what the community needs is borehole, we are going to give you borehole and that is all. But whereas there is a lot more. If the communities are actually educated, they know what they really want, they know they need infrastructure, they know they need economic growth, they know they need all of this. So they will be able to ask for more. Without this formal education, they won't know this. They will just assume that this is what.
I think we have a call. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Please, can we have the phone lines on the screen too? Please, good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Remy from Abuja.
Okay, Brian, please go ahead.
Thank you. I want to remind Nigerians, especially the voters, ahead of the 27 general election. We have been consistent in making mistakes because of tribalism. People say religion. I see religion to be little, but tribalism is the major issue. I remember our warning. I am in Northern now, not Central precisely. I don't live in Northern now, but that is how government put it. I am a middle belter. We have been telling the North that this Northern agenda insisting on ruling Nigeria all the time never worked for us. But they wouldn't listen. They put Buhari. He saw the disaster. Now, some have started talking about Atiku, and we are still warning them. If they insist, we already know the fate. In 2019, July precisely, a woman was killed in Akure. I'm sure you are aware, or Express. And the news was out. That was during Buhari. And the famous statement of the current president, Tinubu, was, "Where are the cows?" Today, children of less than 10 years are in captivity of the bandit. And somebody is complaining that Tinubu did not take action. And I asked them, what action do you want him to take until he sees the cow? We are so gullible not to see the future, and I don't know why. But my prayer is this: everyone that is consistently involving evil, bringing evil people to Nigeria, they will never escape the penalty.
Okay, we appreciate that call. Please do call in. We'll see if we have the time to actually take another call. Yes, because of time, I'm going to move over again to Miyaki. Time is not our friend on the show. You heard what the caller said. He says tribalism is a problem beyond religion. Tribalism too is a major problem in the situation. He went on towards the political route. We do not want to go too deep into that or fan, what he has said, let us focus on what we have to talk about, the impact on our education in Nigeria. You have more. Please let us have it.
Well, like I said earlier, I think that the major impact on our education is going to be, like he also attested to, a very rapid decline. Right now we don't know the numbers, but it's definitely going to be way above 10 points, whatever million out of school children. I mean, between November of 2025, from the kidnappings in Kebbi and in Kaduna and in Niger states till now, I don't want to imagine how many children have left school, have run away from school, how many parents have said, you're not going back there.
But let's take a look at the psychological effect on the students, the family, and of course the entire nation.
We're going to focus more on I'm going to focus more on the students, because they're the ones who are directly affected, especially the ones who have been kidnapped.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I was watching a UN sitting show where they invited some of the rescued Chibok girls who were sent outside the country to further their education. And it's been a lot of years down the line. These ladies are in the United States of America. They're receiving good education, feeding well. They look so good, you'd hardly recognize them. But they were recounting their experience and they were still shedding tears. And you could see this lady, literally, she was still shaking. She was holding the microphone.
The fear is still there.
The fear is still there. The trauma is still there. You can tell that she still hasn't recovered
from the trauma.
And this is someone who didn't even get to the camp. So her experience, she and her friend were able to jump out of the moving truck and were able to, run in whatever direction until they were able to come across, a couple of people in town. They didn't even get to the camp, but you could see the fear. And so it left me wondering, how will the ladies who were in the camp, who got to the camp, how would they actually feel? How will they, yesterday with my friend, we were still talking about this lady, Shuaibu, the lady that wasn't released, and we're talking about how Leah Shuaibu. We don't want to think about what that girl has gone through. We don't want to think about it. I'm not even sure anybody knows if she's alive.
Or
if she's dead. We've not heard anything about her.
So far.
We've not heard anything so far. I saw pictures and videos of these children who were beaten and battered. I saw a very graphic picture yesterday of a child. I think he was maybe 3 or 4.
We don't want to go, but we have a call. I don't want to get emotional on this show. Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
You end my call when I am still talking.
No, please, you have just 30 seconds, like a minute.
I have 90 seconds. You didn't allow me to finish my
Okay. Please, I'm going to give you, I'll please give you 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Thank you. If I pray for you now, that God will help you to achieve everything you wish in Nigeria directly or indirectly that it should happen to you, can you say amen?
Go ahead.
Do you know why I ask this question? So many of us are indirectly helping these evil people to be in power without knowing it. We don't allow real education to get to the people. We bring people to studio that are not ready to tell the people the reality. It is wrong. That is just what I want to correct. It's a wrong impression.
Would you want to be my guest?
Children could be the victim tomorrow.
Would you want to be my guest one of these days? Hello? Okay. All right. So that is a lot of emotion.
That would be his own level of exposure to development, because I keenly follow development regarding this security situation. That was why I was at the briefing yesterday at Transcorp to get first-hand information. Because you see, we should detach emotions from anything that we want to do. Let's be objective. If you say securities are not doing anything, okay, should we give them a break for 24 hours? Let's see what will happen. So we should commend, no matter how, we should encourage our security agency, even though we are still expecting them to do more. We should, the little they've done, let's encourage them to do more, because that is where we'll be able to get the best out of them. So that being said, you see, like I was saying, that there is international conspiracy regarding this security. I was wicked when I listened. There's a lot of things that they said that I was like, why this information are not in the public domain? Because they said that was why they are hosting this, so that they would be able to share it to counter misinformation and disinformation in regarding that the security agencies are not doing enough. That this is the status of Alpha that they've gone. That was why I commend their effort, and I say try to encourage them. Now you see the trauma now, you see we have it is not only the children now that will suffer that trauma, even the parent of these children. It will have a sign of like a lasting problem, because this issue that we are facing now, it has a ripple effect. After the rescue, what will be the story that their siblings and family and their close family relations will tell their younger ones? What kind of stories will they impute on the younger ones to discourage them from still going further to get education? Like I mentioned, I said earlier that even the teachers who are supposed to give them quality educations now, a lot of them will be running away from going if they are being posted. So let's even take, for instance, I bet you today, no copper will want to go towards that community. If any NYC copper was posted there, he will find a way of relocating himself back because it doesn't feel safe. The other time I was at the studio, we spoke when we were talking about still this insecurity. I told you that fear, there is a fear now in the heart of a lot of people. Now, one of the effects now that we are having, schools are now shutting down in Oyo State.
I was going to come
now,
to the
there is a
protest.
protest.
Yes.
Now,
all schools have been shut.
All schools have been shut.
Public schools.
Public schools, even private schools will be shut. Now, the economic revolving that sector
is also shut.
Yeah. It's down. So our livelihood from this sector. Now, what this means, it will increase more poverty to the people in this region, in this part of it, that rely heavily as their source of income, because at every sector there are people who their livelihood revolves around that sector. Now they have been cut off, they have been shut off from it. So what we are going to plead is to still step on with the Nigerian government and plead to them for them to take a swift action.
Rescuing them.
Rescuing these children and putting a stop and increasing and increasing the safe school measures, because I think UNICEF conducted a state by state. They did only 10 states. They discovered that only 37% of these schools have a safe schools measures. So what happens to the others? The remaining, let me say 65%, and now this is just 10 states.
Okay.
So that is why, like the other time I said, every state government, now they shouldn't give us a reason. They have no money. Government has already told them that they now get double or triple allocation. So they should be able to put in place some of these measures.
Okay,
safe school measures to ensure that yes, they combat fear and lives are being protected and safeguarded.
Yeah, time is never a friend. We've been told we don't have enough time. So I know there's a lot you still have a lot to say. We don't know what tomorrow will present, but if it unfolds, we'll definitely give you the details right here. Ismaila, you know the way we do it in our dialect. You speak your dialect, right?
I speak Hausa.
You speak Hausa, all right. That's good. So Ismaila, you have 30 seconds to round up for us in your dialect based on our discussion today as we end the show.
Ẹ jẹ́ àwọn èèyàn mi ní orílẹ̀-èdè Oòduà, mo fẹ́ ká ká gbìyànjú ní tá a bá mọ̀ ká sọ fún àwọn agbófinró ká dẹ̀ dẹ́kun ìwà bàjẹ́. Àwọn agbófinró wa ẹ jẹ́ ká wá nǹkan tí a fi encourage wọn. Àwọn information, àwọn ìṣítí tí wọ́n ní láti mọ̀ sí ẹ jẹ́ ká jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ sọ́dà wá lè tètè bá wa gbìjà láti dá àwọn ọmọ yìí tí wọ́n mú sí àhámọ́ sílẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun.
Thank you so much. So that's your camera there. So in Hausa, 30 seconds, just talk to the people on this topic.
So fa yan uwa wannan abin da muke magana a kai yanzu yana shake mu a wuya, wato yaranmu suna nan a daji ba mu san me ke faruwa da su ba. Ya kamata yanzu lokacin da ya kamata mu haɗa kanmu mu ma gwamnatinmu magana, mu fito in an ce mu fito mu yi protest, mu yi duk abubuwan da ya kamata mu yi, mu tabbata cewa yaran nan sun dawo wurin iyayensu, kuma mu yi kokari mu yi ma gwamnati magana akan cewa makarantunmu sun sa measures in place that zai taimaka makarantunmu su yi protecting students ɗinmu. So mun gode sosai.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everyone who made the show a success. I appreciate my guest, Miyaki Jackson Abafon-iMedia, who is a media communications specialist. Thank you so much, Miyaki. And of course, Ismaila Babatunde, public affairs analyst. I appreciate you for your time. Yeah, thanks for being on the show. And everyone who made production possible behind the camera, Joseph, Sam, Annie, everyone, Divine, I appreciate you. The MCIO across the two MCIOs, we do appreciate you. And to you who watched the show, and to our caller this morning, appreciate you. Nigeria is our home, the greatest nation on earth. Never forget that. I am Anire Binitie. Enjoy the rest of your day.